Hi everybody, so this is the second video in the Swan Lake series. This will be the White Swan pas de deux from Act 1 of Swan Lake. My partner is PNB Principal Seth Orza, who was one of my main partners while he was at New York City Ballet, like the first year I was there. And if you didn't watch the opening, this was the height of my autoimmune illness, so my muscles had started disintegrating. So like I said, this is not my best dancing in the world, but I still want to take you through this and give you some insights. So the hardest thing about this pas de deux is to keep it absolutely seamless. And right here, you're actually turning your head completely to the left to avoid getting makeup on your tights. So anyway, yeah, you're trying to make nothing stop. It all has to constantly move and be absolutely seamless. And again, keeping that upper body soft as well. So a little fouette into penché. You've had a little bit of break at this point, but you haven't also done very much yet. You did the opening, the swans do a waltz, and then this is the first big thing you do in the ballet. Like Sleeping Beauty, this Swan Lake is hard for the principal because you don't come on for about a half an hour. So you sit around for a while, waiting to go on. These little steps, this is really hard. He's controlling you by the wrist. See his hand? And this one coming up is just such an awful crotch shot to the audience. It's the classical version though, so I'm not entirely sure why it's like that. But I always felt really odd, that angle to the audience. It's a lot of wrist partnering, this pas de deux. He has you by the wrist, so the hands can still be shown for the bird-like quality. This is another step very similar to the Aurora Wedding pas de deux, the développé front, and then the port de bras back, except this one goes into a back bend. Again, and you even here, see the upper body keeps moving, it never stops. And I think this, still at this point, story-wise, she's wants to give in, but she's still a little unsure, still a little bit shy, but you'll see by the end of the pas de deux is when she finally, trusts him and believes him. So now you have a little bit of a break. You walk to the back, and basically what you're saying, this is what happens, is you tend to talk right here. You're like, oh, that was good. Yeah, okay, that was good. Make sure you da-da-da on this next thing. Okay, yeah, or whatever. You end up saying a little something to your partner, especially when your back is to the audience. It does happen. You do talk on stage. Many times, if you're in the corps and you've gotten thrown on last minute, your fellow corps members are talking you through the ballet. All right, these little things, I'm not fond of how I do them. Little lift, tendu, and then pirouette to penché. We do at least 4 of these. And even here, my shoes are still too narrow. Look at the foot that's going up in arabesque. See, it looks sickled. Now it's in the front. See how it just looks kind of weird? It's because the shoe is so narrow that it's twisting. I can't say that enough. Make sure your shoes fit correctly. In some versions, you only do this little sequence twice and you move on to something else. But because this was a guesting performance, and again, I was not in the greatest of feeling with my body and everything, Seth and I elected to do it 4 times instead of do the optional other step, which was harder. So we were like, let's make it easy. Here, this is my favorite little section. You do these arabesque. Again, different versions. Sometimes this is a shoulder sit, sometimes it's a press lift, but we just went for the little carry. Still trying to make it swan-like with the arms. I do a little flap with the wrist at the end, right about there. And 4th swan from the right in the front over there. Tall, leggy, that's Riley. Those of you who follow my vlogs and following my wedding stuff, she's my maid of honor. Now she's 4th from the back on the right. This little step. Okay, I have a problem with partnering pirouettes. I cheat. And I never really realized I do it. Watch again. So what happens is I turn my front foot in before I turn, right there. See? I need to fix that. Oops. Here's another little pirouette I love with a little swan flourish. Do a little wrist action there into penché. Again, the whole goal of this is to show she's sad because of the predicament she's in, and you think that once a prince found her and has declared his love for her, she'd be thrilled. But I think she's just almost like doesn't quite believe it in a way, you know. The whole act, she's very sad. I don't think Odette is ever happy. So it's a little bit of a melancholy feeling. And right about here is where she, I think, gives in and says, okay, I trust you, I believe you. Another attitude promenade. See, wrist. He's using the wrists. So the hands are extended. This is really hard to port de bras front. Try and touch your knee while he's holding you. It's actually very, very, very awkward. And then a little hug. Yeah, this is when she's starting to believe him. And then, like all classical ballet, let's do the other side. Up to attitude, wrists, which is handy for me because I have such long arms that it's easier for guys to just reach my wrist than reach my hands. That's why even though I'm very, very short, I'm 5'5", I always got partnered with 6-foot guys because my feet are really long, my arms are really long, so when I go up to point, I'm at least 6 feet tall. And then I have really long appendages. Even here, these little arabesques, keep it moving very soft, which is hard for a Balanchine trained dancer because you're literally trained to stop, start, and show and hold. And so Swan Lake is a bit of a challenge in that regard, just to keep the adagio moving. Even I am an adagio dancer, I still found that challenging, not to sort of anticipate anything, but just let it happen. Last little things here, these are also very awkward, the little serre around, little beats. And then so this is gonna, again, classical ballet, everything in threes, so there's 1. This is gonna be a double pirouette. Right about here, my bottom shoe had started to go, and we were barely, I was barely 20 minutes in, and my bottom shoe had to go, starting to go. And this should be a triple. 1, 2, 3, yep, up, back, and arabesque. Sometimes it's a penché, sometimes not. So that's the White Swan pas de deux. And I loved the White Swan pas de deux. It was never very stressful for me. It's just so easy and so beautiful, and if you just keep it going and let him lead, you don't sort of jump the gun, let the guy lead, it works beautifully. It's when you sort of take the reins and anticipate that it never works. So guys, that is it. I'll keep this going. If you missed the commentary on the opening of Swan Lake, it's right there. You can click it to watch. Hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you next time.